So today I'm going to tackle a simple project, and it's basically a bench seat. So these are two ends that I bought at a local auction recently. I think I gave about £45 for the both ends. Obviously the timber wasn't there, it's rotten. So I'm going to replace the timbers. I'm going to clean these ends up and give them a nice coat of black paint. We've not decided fully on the colour, but it's probably going to be black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all these old bolts of both ends, and I'll give them a good clean down. And then I've got some black satin spray paint that I'm probably going to use on them. I bought actually two sets, but one of the legs broke off, and you have to get a specialist welder to weld them. So I might do that down the line, but for now we'll get stuck into this one, and we'll see how it goes. Pretty simple, to be honest. I'm just going to replace the timbers with what we call here D-rail. So it's like 4x2 with rounded ends. You would use it for fencing, but I'll round off the edges like this here on each of the ends. So it's a pretty simple fix, but I'll just take you through it anyway. Okay. So the next stage, I'm just going to get some WD-40 to loosen off these bolts. Have been on for quite a while, so I'm just going to give them all a quick bit of the WD. Let that soak in for a wee second, and then we'll start taking them off with the just a wee 13 wrench. So let's see how this goes. This should be easy enough to take off. He says, yeah, pretty handy. And these are again, people have different names for these, but these are coach bolts or cup head bolts. So there's a square inset that bites into the wood that keeps them from turning. So again, as I say, hopefully this should be fairly straightforward. Get these out. It's absolutely lashing out there today, so I just decided to do this. I've been putting it off for a while, but no excuses. Get out. It's an easy enough. It's an easy enough. As you can see here now, all the bolts in the bottoms. Actually, some of these are very loose. Literally just take them off with your hand. Things like this, you know, you can pick up some nice wee bargains at the auctions. I don't go to them very often, but when you do, pick up something like this. A seat like this to buy, you're probably talking a couple of £100, whereas this will be a very cheap fix. Probably, if you're looking at maybe with including the sides, the timber and the bolts, you're probably looking at about £100. So it's half the price what you pay for a bench, brand new. That's it. Now what I want to do is punch out one of these so that I can get a replica. See, I'll pull that out in a second. Just get all these out here. Be very careful with the cast. These here brackets that hold the bolts in place, they can break, so you just got to be really careful with them. So I've just grabbed myself a punch, so hopefully I'll be able to pop this out without breaking it. Maybe not. There. I think that's that one out on here. So that's the bolt. So what I'll do is I'll just go into my local hardware or Screwfix. There are 75mm bolts. I might get a couple of short ones for up here, and then these 75s will be fine for the rest. So that's all the timber off. The next thing is going to start cleaning down the actual cast steel and get it back down to, I'm not going to be too pedantic about it, just take it down, take the rough off it, give them a good clean down, and then I'm going to do some spraying. Okay, so ready to start here now. So what I've purchased is, I've bought a few of these wire wheels. I'm sure everybody's seen these. They're, you just literally put them into the drill, and there's a couple of different shapes and sizes. I just got it, I thought it would be a good way of getting rid of some of this rust. So I'm going to give it a go, give them a try. Bought them in B&Q, just literally, and there we go. So we'll get them in here now and see, can we make some headway? By the way, I forgot to put on my microphone for the last beginner's YouTube error. So I just have myself connected up. These are so bloody sharp. Whoa, they just stick into you. Got to be real careful with these. Really important, as you can see, they're all little wire bristles. Really important to wear glasses, because one blast of one of those in the eye and you can forget about doing up your garden bench. You'll be heading for A&E. So let's give it a go, see how it goes. So you can see there, just with very quick, I think this bench has had a few different coats of paint over the years. You see a red and a green and now black, but you can see it's taken off all the rust. That's the big piece. Just want to get it all stripped back, and just to keep it from rusting. Yeah, pretty good. Impressed with that. So we'll keep going. We'll just turn it right now and do the other side. Whoa. See how that goes. Missed a bit up here. So that's it. Again, as I keep saying, I'm not going to get into too much. That's nice and clean. It's got all that roughage off there. I might give this another wee blast. Okay, just bring it a little bit closer to the camera as well. You can see there's some lovely detail on it. Some nice shamrocks here. And then the leaves and so on. It's nice. It'll look well when it's all sprayed up. So we'll leave it at that and we'll catch you on the next step. Okay, so I've just come outside now to prime these ends. Obviously outside it's a lot safer environment to be spraying rather than inside. So as I said, nothing really much to it. It's just an etch primer. I've got a couple, as I said, half cans left over. I'm just going to use them, give them a quick coat, or 2 coats probably each. And then we'll get the black on top of that, and then we'll get to replacing the actual timbers. So we'll just have a quick blast at this. Yeah, we'll lift this one inside. Okay, so we're back at the bench. I've got the two ends sprayed and finished coats on. They look really good. I'll show them to you now once I start to attach the timber. But I just want to talk a bit about the timber that I'm going to use for the seat. So the timber, it's called derail, and the reasons for it obviously is if you look at the shape of that, you can see it's clearly in the shape of a D. So this would traditionally be used for ranch fencing around here in Ireland, and I'm sure the UK and beyond, but that's what we're going to use. It's tannalized, it's rounded, and then what I'll do is when it's on the end of the seats, I'll round the corners and make some sort of effect, get it sanded down, put an edge on it with the router to try and replicate what's already on it. So that's pretty much it, straightforward. I'm going to cut these at 5 foot. It's going to be a 5 foot bench. I talk a lot in feet and inches. That's spending time with my dad when I was younger. He was all feet and inches, and then I also measure some bits and pieces in millimeters, so I'll always try and call out what I'm using, but that's it. So it's going to be 5 foot long, and there's going to be 6 pieces, 2 on the back and 4 on the seat. Okay, so I've just marked the corners off with just using the tin, so obviously using the diameter of the base of the tin, keeping it flush here, bringing it out flush, allowing for the curve, so you're bringing it out nice and flush with the side of the timber, mark around both corners, and that's pretty much it. So I'll use that for them all, obviously, just to keep them all the same. And then I'm just going to clamp down this here now with a clamp. These clamps I got on Banggood, banggood.com. They're like make Chinese copies of all the bigger brands. So these would be replicas of the Bessie clamp. So anybody that knows their woodwork and their clamps will know what a Bessie clamp is. They're a very expensive piece of equipment. But these ones here, I think I give maybe £6 each for them. They're not very expensive. Bought them 2 or 3 years ago now at this stage. But really good for getting timber clamped down to your bench, just so that you can do things on your own, because I'm normally on my own here, so it just leaves really tight. You'll not move that for love nor money. So once you have it clamped down nice and firm, you just get the jigsaw then, and I'm just going to round off these corners with the jigsaw. Probably going to have some from this side of it, so we'll give it a go here. That's rounded over pretty okay. The sander will do the rest, but they're pretty square, and I'll just go ahead now and get them all done, and I'll come back to you when I've all these. It's a bit boring, it's very repetitive. I have 6 to do, so it'll take a bit of time. So I've got all my seat runners here, all sanded down to 120 grit with 120 grit sandpaper. And I'm now going to start to set it up for drilling the holes. So I'm going to use my MFT table where I've got all the holes using the UK Parf guide system. So This here is like a backboard. Okay, so that's put in with 2 dogs there. And then on the right hand side, I've got 2 dogs sitting here and here. So I know that when I run the timber up here to the level, which I'm putting in here as a guide, keep it square, I now know that this is square. So if I push all these timbers up against the backboard and up against the level on the right side here, I now know that if I pull a line down here, everything's square and straight. So I'm going to measure in 100 mil or maybe 125, pull a line down. So get them all set up here, and I'll get the camera set up better than this, but basically now I know that this is, when I pull a line down here, it's going to be 100% square, and then measure off the other side, measure in 125, square a line, and again, I know it's all square. So I'll get the camera set up proper, and I'll mark this out here now. Okay, so I know now my boards are all square with the level and the backboard, so they're all nice and tight to here. So I'm just going to measure in 100 mil now for my first hole. And sorry, yeah, in the middle of my next hole, which is there. Then the steel ruler, and we line up the 2 marks like so. I'm just going to put a light mark in each of them around the centre. I know these are 92 millimeters in width, so we take this and we measure 46 in, and that's the centre of my first hole. So, and the bolt I'm using for bolting these into the seat, it's a cup head bolt. I call it a cup head. Some people call them coach bolts, but it's an 8 mil, yeah, an 8 mil shank, let's say, with a square head up here. So when you drill your 8 mil hole, you tap it in with a hammer, and then you'd obviously tighten it, but once that tightens down, it grips and doesn't turn when you're tightening your bolt. So we've all heard the old saying, measure twice, cut once, and this is definitely one of those cases. So I marked all these in the centres, thinking that, you know, the centre of the board was going to fit over each of these lugs on the seat. But just before I bored my holes, I thought I'd check it, and it's actually about 30 on the front one there. We're probably looking at about a 33 mil, and on the back one we're looking at 35 centres. So I'm going to have a backboard and a front board, get those on first, and then make sure that the centres of these boards will leave us with equal gaps between the seat runners, so you know when you space them out that you have the same gap. So I'm going to have to do these, a backboard measuring from the back 35, so from the back of the board to the centre where I'm going to lower the hole, it's going to be 35, and it's going to be 33 in the front. So I'll re-measure those, and a big learning there, it's definitely a case of measure twice, cut once, and all that. So you can see here, I've put a bit of waste ply underneath the hole, and I've done the same on the end, so that when you go through the other side, you should leave yourself with a nice clean hole. So you can see in the back, nice and clean there. So it's always good to put a bit of waste timber behind them. This saves the breakout. It's nice and centre there. That's the back one done. So that's the bench all bolted up now. I haven't, you know, screwed them tight, because I'm going to take all this off again and paint it. So I always find if you paint wood on the bench, you're never going to get it properly covered. So I am going to take everything off now, take it all apart, paint it up, and yeah, get it all back together again and for final time. And you'll see here, I couldn't get short bolts, so I had to get long ones. So what I'll do is I'll bolt them all up, and then I'll cut them off with the grinder, and I will seal them with a bit of primer or something. So that's it. Paint on. I've got 2 coats on over the course of the last few hours. Obviously letting the first coat dry and reapplying, but it's a kind of a matte finish. The colour mightn't be to everybody's taste, but it sort of matches with our front door. And the bench is going to be sort of sitting up beside the house. Yeah, so pretty easy, to be honest. The paint I've used it's a Sadlin Super Deck, and it's got a 10-year protection. I've used this similar paint, not this colour. I've used a grey version of this on the fence outside, you know, the garden fence that I built, and it wears really well. So a couple of coats. It's like silicone based. The water really does just run off it, so it's really good. So the next step is wait till this dries and get the bench put back together, and but the next clip should be the finished bench sitting out on the floor, ready for its final place. So it's amazing what you can do with what is one man's scrap is somebody else's treasure, as they say. So it's finished up really well. So thanks for watching this one. As I said, there'll always be some project down the horizon. It's probably going to be back to the pottery studio build after this. So please subscribe, like, leave a comment and share with your friends. See you in the next one. Bye bye.